the opening ceremony for the IAM Winter Solstice Symposium, and I've gathered some friends here in Palm Desert, and it's been an interesting day. Technology goes the way technology will go, and like someone just said, we're not as caught up to the ancient technologies yet, so of the wind. We're going to bring the people into the circle now, and you at home, we just want to first of all say thank you. Stuart, if you want to bring the circle in. Thank you. And tonight, when I was taking a wind walk last night, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Renee, and I'm Baribeau, known as the Practical Shaman, and I take wind walks because I'm a wind whistler and author of Winds of Spirit. And last night I was taking a wind walk, and the winds told me, bring people in, when the winds told me that I really needed to make sure to honor the people who answered the call. And it's not always convenient to answer the call. It's not always in the time that works best for you. A client may call you, they need something in the middle of the night, and if you're a healer, you put down what you're doing and you take that call. Yes, we have boundaries and we have all kinds of other things, but over the course of the year, Spirit's always taught me that sometimes airplanes fly over hello everyone. The airplanes will fly over, and everything that will happen is part of what's happening. So we can't only pick to be called when we feel like being called, and we can't always have the live video go live when we think it's going to go live. Sometimes we have to make some adjustments. And the winds are blowing really strong out there really now. So the fact that you're answering this call to hold fire and hold a fire for people who are processing a lot. It's the holidays. There's people with illnesses. People have been laid off this holiday season that I know personally. And so to hold a fire and hold space for all of these people while sometimes the other day I had this vision of one of the presenters was talking and doing this journey, and I had a vision. The eagle picked me up and said, "You haven't learned how to fly, Renee. You haven't learned how to fly when the winds are going, when the winds are battering you. Watch us eagles. We fly, and sometimes we go like this, and sometimes we fly like that. But as you learn how to fly, you have to learn how to fly in tumultuous winds." And that's what's going on right now, and that's why 2,000 people or more are on this IAM Winter Solstice Symposium. 200 people heard the call to step up to tend the fire. And for that, we all honor you, and I honor each and every person sitting in this fire tonight. Audrey, do you want to say a prayer before we get into the talisman? And Audrey, today some people have come and people have left and weren't going to be here, and people showed up and they left. And a lot of the people who are here tonight were the people when we started Desert Holistic Network in 2004, who are still here tonight holding space for our bigger vision of community. And I want to honor one of my dear sweet sisters, Audrey, who traveled with the international grandmothers for many, many years. 10 years. A decade.
Many.
So she's going to start us off with a prayer tonight.
Thank you. So this morning I was talking to some people in Nepal, and they asked that we feed the fire, which is not normally my tradition to feed the fire and put anything in it, but their tradition is to feed the fire. And so we will do that with the last of the limes from my big lime tree for the summer. So this is apropos that it goes into the fire for the coming spring, so that it can rest and then come back for the coming spring. So it is my tradition to call in angels, guides, and guardians, and that's what we're going to do. So beloved Mother, Father, God, Creator, Maker, just now as we call ourselves forward into this circle of loving and light, we ask for a clearing of the day and of the night and of our lives, and any karma and negativity that can be released during this ceremony, released and taken to the upper realms, and there dispersed for the highest good of all concerned. And in its place, your love, your light, your sound, your abundance, and your balance. As we move forward onto this planet where balance is most needed at this particular time and place. We thank all the angels, guides, guardians, sadhus, avatars, holy ones that have stepped forward with us this evening on our crowding around this fire to be present with us. And each and every person that stands here, we thank for being at this holy fire this evening. And we thank you for the communion that will happen later, and we thank you for the communion and balance that can happen in our lives. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is.
Renee, I would like to share that we have 43 people with us, some from Nova Scotia, some from North Carolina, lots of different places, but we right now have 44.
Awesome, and we want to thank, there's people telling me today that they were holding space in Australia, Ireland, I think Finland, all over the world people are holding space for each other. And for me, this is such an inside job. You know, a lot of times people want to take care and heal everything else out there, but holding space, and definitely watch Cindy's video, is all about holding your own space and tending to your own fires. And for some of you, that fire might be an illness you're nursing, or your relatives that are growing old, or anything else, because there's a lot of fires you can be holding. So what we want you to do is to light a candle every day. If you have time and you have a sacred spot to have a fire. I live in a community development, so this is why hence we have the summer fire, as Audrey calls it. And you know that you can do a candle, because just by looking in the light of that candle, it helps you enlighten up, and it helps you clear out from the inside. And this is all about the inside. And one of our presenters is Jan Ingle Smith, and she explained about this wonderful talisman process that she does every year. And we've suggested that the fire tenders do that. And there's written directions, there's video instructions. You can email me. I even made a meme today to show you what to do. And it was really quite simple. One of our fire tenders, Rebecca, who's a Wind Clan member, she brought us some stuff from up in the higher desert. And this is the community one. And so what we're going to do is we pass it around here. We're going to use the wind. We're going to use our breath to put in our intentions of what it is we want to release from 2018 for the collective, and what we would wish for the collective in 2019. And so for me, I'm going to start off, and what I would like to release from the collective, and I'm going to say it out loud, the rest of you can pray quietly with it, is I want to release separation. I want to release discord. I want to release that which keeps us apart. And in 2019, I want us to look for what makes us similar. You know, we used to share pie with our neighbors, and I'd like to see us breaking bread with our neighbors again, no matter what. No matter what their religion, no matter what their politics, no matter what, we need to find out what people have in common. So I'm going to put my prayers in for what I'm releasing and what I'm bringing in. And we're going to pass this around the fire, and then your personal talismans that you're creating, you'll start with a forked stick. And I went out to the desert the other day to get my forked stick, and as you can see, I had a big year. The book came out. All of a sudden, I went from somebody who was writing a book to a best-selling author, and it was a big change for me. So I have a lot to put on this tomorrow when I get to praying. What I got to give up, because I had a lot of ideas what that was going to look like. And so now I've got to give those ideas up so that I can hold a bigger altar, a bigger space in 2019. And I'll do my private prayers tomorrow. I'm going to call in the wind. And we picked a wind for this opening ceremony. How are you all doing out there at home? Are you loving this?
Yes, they
Send
are.
us some hearts.
They're sending you all over the place. We have 77 right now.
Wow.
Awesome.
Nice.
Everyone.
Nice.
So the card we pulled out of the wind sack, for those of you who are new to this tribe or clan, wind traveled in bags and in caves. for years I tried to call this a wind satchel, and it just kept coming out wind bag. And then all my friends said, "That's perfect for you. You are such a wind bag." You can laugh, it's all right. All right. And so we were really fortunate that we pulled out Oya. And Oya is interesting wind because she's the wind of transformation. She loves women in commerce. However, she will cut you down, burn your enterprise up if you're not in integrity. So my guess is that we're moving into a year where integrity will be everything. And the other parts about Oya is she comes at the change of seasons. She blows in tonight from the west, and we'll call her all together in just a minute or two. And she's the gatekeeper of life and of transitions. And the transition tonight is we're at that pinnacle when it's the darkest day or the lightest day if you're down in my friends in Peru, if there's some people here from Peru and Australia. So for you, it's still that pinnacle. We're still at that moment where we go either to darkness back towards the light or to the light towards the darkness. And Oya is the perfect wind that we just called in for this transformation. She's also really great about your multidimensional self. I was talking to somebody today who was telling me about they wished for something and they wished for a couple of days on their couch, and 2 minutes later they started to get sick. You got to be really careful what you're manifesting because as the time has sped up and the space-time intersections are happening quicker, you manifest within seconds what used to take weeks or months. So Oya is a wind you can call on for a transformational time and for your multidimensional self that's traveling, because we are multidimensional beings. And she also is concerned with the fruits of this year's harvest. So make sure when you make those talismans, you put all of what you've harvested this year. And sometimes we harvest to an empty field. Our fallow fields are those years where there's a lot of spaciousness so that we can create something new in the spring. So however you want to feel with this way about Oya, let's call her in. And those who have wind whistles, all of you there, because I sent out 40 wind whistles this month. We have 40 new wind whistlers, which brings us up to over 200 wind whistlers in just 1 year alone. Imagine next year we'll have 2,000 wind whistlers.
Yes.
And in 5 years we'll have 1 million wind whistlers. And so this wind whistle is a handcrafted tool by a man in Mexico who doesn't speak a word of English. We translate through Google. And yet, once we sent the wind whistles over the border, they raised a supermarket in Mexico, and underneath it was Ecatel's wind temple. So if you're wondering what the power is behind this is ancient technology. And so let's call to Oya. And if you one of you want to play the wind whistle, you're more than welcome to. No? That's an easy one. That's a great job. So we're going to call to Oya in the east. And right now there's a near full moon coming up in the east with us. So put your attention to the east. And that is the place where you're going to plant your seeds that are going to come up when the timing is right in the spring. We're going to call to Oya in the south. As the seasons move through the spring to the summer, Oya is going to help us with all of our transformations. calling to Oya in the west. May we multidimensionally travel with each other so that our circle of fire tenders and all of the people who are engaged in this symposium stay strong as one wind. And as we move to the north, this night that we're in the northwest, moving north into that place of hibernation, we're going to call to Oya in the north, which is beyond the furthest mountain. Beyond, it's the place of our spiritual, centered and sacred selves that allows us to hold the sacred space for everybody in this circle. Those who could make it here tonight, those who are going to watch over the course of the next 12 days, and those who might even tune in over the next year, we open this circle.
Marianne says, my soul recognizes that sound. We have 106 people with us.
Wow.
Nice.
Thank you so much for being here with us. We are so honored, all of us. And so with those talismans, you're going to be working with them for the next 12 days, or when you feel that they're empowered enough that you will then put them into the fire. But we're going to burn this community one tonight since we're all here, and it's our sacred ones, our personal ones. This is very sacred. Wow. Oh, I'm going to cry.
Cry.
This is so sweet. Beautiful prayers at home, beautiful prayers, everyone. I'm going to put this one into the fire so that all of our community prayers from last year and all of what we want to bring into the world for next year. And I'm going to light our solstice candle from this flame.
No, Renee, I think we should put the cover.
What? Oh, hold on. They're making me put the cover on. Can you imagine?
You're in California.
I'm now in trouble. Hold on. I want to get it. Oh, there we go. And then we're going to each light all of our solstice candles from this one. You can pass it along. And we're going to invite you to light your candles at home. And my request is that you keep your candles burning as long in the day as you feel comfortable. You know, those votive candles with the saints on them are wonderful if you want to leave it unattended. But I usually take and burn one candle a day, and I'll probably have several more summer fires over the course of this time. And we want to thank you for being with us for this Winter Solstice Symposium. It's a very, very special online symposium because not only do we have 18 wise women who have walked their talk, like the lists including Sandra Ingerman and Robin Rice and Linda Fitch and Jay Seiss, many more. And the part that makes this symposium different from any other symposium that you'll ever attend is you. The space that you hold for everybody else's healing over the next 12 days is what makes this a healing event. And it shows all of us that not only is healing possible, it's probable, and we can, that it knows no time or space. That you might light the fire at 6 and you might light the fire at 8, and I might light the fire all the time, but all of our fires and all of our winds are connected because we all breathe the same wind. And thank you, and you'll be getting your first, tomorrow morning we open up the symposium at 11 a.m. with Deborah Koff-Chapin doing some soul touch drawing. I guess one of our fire tenders just is processing a lot of heavy energy here, because that's what happens sometimes when there's density in the air, and there's a lot of density in the air right now. So take care of yourself during this time and tend to the fires of your own heart and your own soul as you tend to the fires for the thousands of people around the world who will be watching with us. Aho, amen.
Oh,
Blessed be. Matakoyasin. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful.
Nice work.